All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're deconstructing this really intense little story. And look, on the surface, it's all about a gangster mission, right? But if you dig a little deeper, it's really a story about identity, about stereotypes, and what it actually means to be strong.
So let's kick things off with this one line. Wow. That line right there, that's the heart of the whole story. It's from our main character, Dragon, and it just bleeds this deep, deep insecurity. It pretty much sets up everything that's about to happen. So you gotta ask, where is all that coming from? Let's get into it. So, let's talk about the setting. We're thrown into the world of the Chinese Jamaicans. And yeah, you heard that right. They're an all-female gang, and they are trying to carve out a piece of the action for themselves. It's a super dangerous world they're living in. And well, a massive opportunity has just landed right in their lap. All right, so who are we dealing with here? Let's meet the key players. You've got Buffy, she's the one in charge. And then her top captains, Dragon and Slime, they're the ones we're really gonna be following. On the outside, they seem like this solid, tight-knit crew, but trust me, some major tensions are bubbling just below the surface. And here's where it all kicks off. This is the spark. Dragon stumbles upon this absolutely explosive secret. Now, in this world, intel like this, it's way more dangerous than a gun. And you better believe their leader, Buffy, sees its potential immediately. She knows exactly what to do with it. So, you get this deadly piece of information. What do you do with it? For Buffy, this isn't just some street gossip. No. This is leverage. This is a key that can unlock a huge payday, a huge opportunity for her entire crew.
Bahanak na mahuwag na sinas na huwag iba tuhuwag na hirdiulis padas na nusina na nis padais na madidas na amag na mahapon niya buinak na cars do.
Ba ta, wat waksig nefort, no me ha, na hei fos met buurt met das met mewa. Ba, beshima, na hivana was na, bedaba, shid me krap wat gewa. O no ak me vrees na belet dat je no buurt, ba ne menema voor guda, bedes nas pas na do nak menema de moet je snema wel da. Ba abati ba shimak vedabata. Bashna, bullchap puniwa, the bedeba, let you snap.
And this is where you see just how smart Buffy is. She's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. She's not thinking about revenge or starting some big gang war. Not at all. She's thinking like a CEO, you know? She's turning this information into an asset. Her plan? Trade that intel to the powerful Cuban gang in exchange for protection during a massive sale. Okay, so the mission for Dragon and Slime is laid out pretty clearly. It's a step-by-step thing. Step 1. They've got to go around and pick up the smuggled goods from a few different stash houses. Step 2. They complete this big sale, all while the Cubans are providing security. And then, only after the deal is done and they're safe, step 4 is to give the Cubans the intel. The info is the payment, but it comes last. All right, now we're getting to the real meat of the story. Because while Dragon and Slime are out there on this high-stakes mission, driving from one pickup to the next, the real drama, the real conflict, it's not with some rival gang. It's happening right there, between the two of them, inside the car. And then it just comes pouring out. All of Dragon's insecurity just boils over her. She's not just looking at her partner, her captain. She's looking at what she thinks is the perfect gangster physical type, something she feels she can never ever be because of who she is.
And Slime's reaction? Oh, it's instant. It's raw. She is just not having any of it. She fires back, and then she drops this bomb. Being half black, half Chinese is not a walk in the park. Right there, she completely demolishes Dragon's simple black and white view that Slime has some kind of built-in advantage.
And this next part is so important. Slime basically flips the whole thing right back on Dragon to show her how messed up her thinking is. Bam! She uses this really common, really harmful stereotype to make Dragon see what she's actually doing. She's boiling down a whole person's abilities to a cheap, racist stereotype. So this is the core conflict right here, laid bare. You've got Dragon, who has totally internalized these stereotypes to the point where she hates herself for it. And then you have Slime, who's pushing back against being boxed in because her reality, her identity is so much more complicated. This is way more than just an argument, you know? It's a total clash of how they see the world and their place in it.
And just as that incredibly heavy personal conversation is hanging thick in the air between them, the outside world decides it's time to crash the party. All that internal conflict, it's about to get put on the back burner by a very, very real external threat.
Okay, they're at the third pickup spot. The mission has to go on. But you can just feel that argument still sitting there between them. The tension is just suffocating. Everything looks normal. Too normal. And you know that feeling, right? That quiet before the storm? It's that moment in the story where your gut just tells you something is about to go sideways, fast. And then, bam. Ambush. And get this, it's not the Cubans, it's not the Puerto Ricans they've been worried about this whole time. Nope, it's the Russians. A completely different crew hitting them completely out of the blue. And just like that, a deadly firefight kicks off. And you know what? All that talk, all that arguing about who's built to be a gangster and who isn't, it's gone. It means nothing now. All that matters is what you can do in the moment. And Dragon, the one who thinks she's just a tiny little Chinese girl, well, she's got no choice but to show everyone and herself what she's really made of. So when the gunfire stops and the smoke starts to clear, we get to the aftermath. Yeah, the mission was about getting the goods, but what Dragon gets out of this fight, it's something way, way more important. Bottom line, they won. They survived the ambush, they took down the Russians, and they secured the goods. Mission accomplished. But it wasn't just about winning the fight. In the middle of all that chaos, there was just one, huge lesson that Dragon learned. And it pretty much changed her entire perspective. And this is it. This is the moment that brings their argument full circle. Slime turns to Dragon, and after seeing her in action, just totally holding her own, she gives her this incredible validation. She basically tells her, see, don't chuck up your skills to race or biology. You did that. It's this amazing moment of respect, proving that capability, real skill, has nothing to do with stereotypes. So when you look at the whole picture, it was a victory on every level. Externally, for the gang, huge win. The sale was a success, the Cubans got their intel, but the real victory, the one that truly matters in this story, was internal. It was Dragon proving her own worth, not just to her crew, but to herself. And that really leaves us with something to think about, right? Dragon was completely trapped by her own insecurities until this insane trial by fire forced her to see her own strength. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? When has a challenge in your own life revealed a strength you never even knew you had?